Damn.
You mind testing the audio on the live too?
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. Testing, testing, testing.
Yeah, it's good.
Done. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Baham, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and others, Great Millstone. Oh my God. Damn.
Technical difficulties. All right. It's like you.
All right, I'm back in there. Yeah, I was saying
Gotcha.
like motherfucker. Yeah, I'm back in here. All right,
Mm-hmm.
double honors to the apostles and others, Great Millstone, Ruben T. Swell, Wabaraka Thumb is an hopeful elect. All right, and today through the Spirit, you know, to go into a video breaking down Joshua chapter 11. Right, in this chapter, that's when you have the rest of the kings. They're trying to basically gather and come against Joshua and them because they seen that, oh shit, these guys are actually a problem. See, if you can put control, oh, you already got it. Yeah, these guys are actually a problem. So they basically tried to gather together to come against Joshua and them. They were hearing the stories and seeing that they're going to take us over. They're going to kill all of us. But the Lord, when you read this, the Lord was with Joshua and them on the conquest.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
then you
here's a
already
map
got
of
it
it
up
right
there.
now.
So like,
Yeah, I already got it up there.
okay. Well, I mean, as we read through it, man, this is the area. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this is the area where Joshua is pretty much going to be heading at, right? Because in this chapter, it's going into pretty much the northern part, right? The northern part of you know, Canaan, where they're going to pretty much Joshua's going to conquer over there, right? Because then last chapter, if not, yeah, last chapter, it was over here. Oh shit, Satan. Yeah, in the last chapter, it was all down here. You know how they try to get Gibeon because they joined with Israel and whatnot, whoop the whoop. But now Joshua's heading up all the way up here. That's why you see this. Well, I'll explain it more when as we go through it. Because as you see waters of Meron. You know what? I'll just wait for that. So like, we could go ahead and get into it. I'll just wait. I'll explain it then. Oh, okay, never mind. Let me go ahead. I'll read then. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Uh,
We can go into the
yeah.
chapter. I had to do that real quick because you know how that shit be tripping.
Now you do what you gotta do. I mean, if you leave,
Yeah,
I'll just keep going.
yeah.
So
It's because you on the gotta do it on the phone right now. So if
kind of
notifications pop up, it'll fuck up the live. But yeah, we can start on the Joshua 11.
yeah. You mind sharing?
Yeah,
Wait.
once you get up there, I can share it.
Yeah, I got you. Here it goes.
All right, yeah, it's already on there. Push Control Z. I mean Control Plus. I mean,
Oh, you need to be closer.
yeah, just put it a little closer. There we go. That's perfect. Now they can see it real good.
Oh, this good right here.
Yeah.
All right, I'll start reading. This is Joshua chapter 11, verse 1. And as you see the title, Northern Palestine Taken. It says, and it came to pass when Jabin, king of Hazor, had heard those things, that he sent to Jobab, king of Madon, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of uh, Akshaph, and to the kings that were on the north of the mountains and of the plain south of Chinneroth, and in the valley and the borders of Dor on the west.
Now, when you go into these land masses, they were that's that mountainous regions. You see the reason why Israel wanted to take over that, but all the Lord blessed us with that land is because they had great agriculture, great military, and like basically the location of them being on the mountains and being in that high ground makes it to where it's way harder for somebody to attack you. So that sentiment we kind of went into it in the past chapters, but that's what our land is compiled of. It's all types of mountains. It's real great agriculture,
Yep.
great trade. The trade routes, you see. So we were getting that land back. You got it, bro.
Yep. And as you can see, it was pretty much naming these. I can't even highlight it. I'll just move it. As you can see, if you look at these, like take a quick look, you can see the names that we mentioned. They all in the northern part of Canaan up here, pretty much. But that's all I want to say. I'm gonna get back to it. This is Joshua chapter 11 and verse
Right, 3.
3. It says, and to the Canaanite on the east and on the west, and to the Amorite and the Hittite and the Perizzites and the Jebusite in the mountains, and to the Hivite under Hermon in the land of Mizpeh, and they went out, they and all their hosts with them, much people, even as the sand that is upon the sea shore, in multitude, with horses and chariots, very many.
And they guess what? They came with a great multitude to try and subdue Israel. But at the end of the day, we know that the Lord controls who wins the battle.
Yep.
Yeah, how about trying to control on who's gonna come out victorious? And before we do continue on, we get this quick precept, because this precept has been coming out on this chapter, but this chapter just echoes it over and over again. These heathen know that when we're close to our power, there's nothing they really can do.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm gonna go into this quick example in Judith, the 5th chapter. This is Judith chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 20. And if you can pull it up on the screen if you want to. It
My
says,
bad. What'd you say?
Judith 5, and I'm starting at verse 20.
Okay.
It says, now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. You see, he's saying, like, okay, if their power, if they could transgress against their power, then he's not going to be with them in battle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He basically have watched them through history. This is verse 21. It says, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power be for them, and we be a reproach before all the world. Right? So that's the point I wanted to go into, man. Like, they knew that if our power is good with us, then it's gonna be a problem. Now, these heathen nations right here, they were just in a situation where they were fucked either way it go, because the Lord was already being with us. So it was like, shit, let's try and come together. Maybe we come together, we can get them. But this shows you that this has always been a mindset of these heathen nations.
Yep. They in the know. Shit. We're the only ones nowadays don't even know. Well, 2/3. But you got it, bro. Well,
yeah, they try to they got to keep us. They like fuck. We got tag. We got niggas do that shit now. Nigga know a nigga too big or he fight too good. We gotta jump this nigga. We can't fight this nigga 1-on-1. That shit ain't gonna work.
Pretty much.
You got it, bro.
Going back in Joshua chapter 11, verse 5, it says, and when all these kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Meron to fight against Israel. And if I can make that quick point right here. Okay, it does that every time I end up sharing this. All right. So as you can see, they all pretty much gathered together at this right here, where it says waters of Meron, right? They gathered together. Well, kind of looked at it in ChatGPT just for the sake of time. I'll just go ahead and give a quick summary. Basically, they all gathered together right there. So Israel basically couldn't pick them off one by one like they did in the southern region. So they said, you know what? We're going to meet Israel up over here. Right? So they all gathered together. And as far as these red arrows that you can see, the chapter's going to go pretty much more into that. And I'll go into that as well. Because, well, I might as well say, the red arrows is basically where where some of them ended up scattering while fighting in waters of Meron. But I'm gonna go ahead go back to that, Joshua.
If you can get I want to get a quick precept and get Psalms 2, the first verse.
All right,
get it real quick.
Yeah.
Well, you already got it right there. This is Psalms chapter 2, and you can get verse 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is Psalms chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying,
Yep, so that's what they doing.
Yeah.
They're trying to come against the Lord's will, the Lord's plan. The Lord's plan was to have Israel get the land of Canaan back. All of it. Right? And establish the kingdom of what we know later as King David. and Solomon being there, the northern and southern kingdom. You see it subject all those neighboring nations. When you look at it, check it out. It said that why do they imagine a vain thing? Because it's empty. That shit did not work that they tried to do. They tried to come up like, oh, we're gonna overpower them by getting by these waters. So they can't pick us off. We're gonna all come together like that, and the shit didn't work. They're gonna try and do it against Yahushua.
Yep.
You got it, bro.
God,
That was really the point on that one.
Yeah, I got it figured. Going back to that Joshua chapter 11, and now we're at verse 6. It says, and Yahweh said unto Joshua, be not afraid because of them, for the morrow about this time will I deliver them up all slain before Israel. Thou shalt hold their horses and burn their chariots with fire.
You can get some of these in the NLT. And basically they chopped up, they cut their horses where their horse couldn't go.
Yep.
They burnt all their shit.
Hell yeah.
See, you basically had basically ultimately you just basically making that nation weak. You taking away all you making them a spoil. You got it, bro.
God, this is back in Joshua chapter 11, verse 6. In the NLT, it says, then Yahweh said to Joshua, do not be afraid of them. By this time tomorrow, I will hand all of them over to Israel as dead men. Then you must cripple their horses and burn their chariots.
That's their vehicles they use to ride the horses. You got it?
God, you want me to get in the NLT?
We can be in NLT some more.
God, just let me know. It's verse 7 in the NLT. It says, so Joshua and all his fighting men traveled to the water near Meron and attacked suddenly. And fuck, man, Satan, dude. And Yahweh gave them victory over their enemies. The Israelites chased them as far as Great Sidon and Mizrathayim, fuck, and eastward into the valley of Mizpah until not one enemy warrior was left alive.
Leave none of them alive. He followed the instructions. Unlike, we don't know King Saul later on. No, he was told to slay all the Amalek, but hey, Joshua, they didn't play. They did what the Lord said, man. And I want to get a quick precept against Deuteronomy 7 chapter. Deuteronomy 7 and 2. Because this was the instructions. Right? The instructions was to get on their ass, man. Because the Lord said, Lord had a judgment for them Canaanites. See? Let me get that Deuteronomy real quick. Deuteronomy 7.
Yeah.
I get verse 1 and 2.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, you get what verse 1 and 2, Baba Gashai.
God, this is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 1. It says, when Yahweh thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Because they was already established in the land. Right? So that's why it was such a big deal for Israel to go and take them over. They already had king, they already had everything set up. You got it?
Verse 2 says, and when Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
No mercy. Right? This is when the law was being reiterated. Moses was like, when you go into later verses, Moses was telling Joshua everything, what he had to do. So he was basically carrying out the Lord's instruction in this chapter. This is the part. This is more of him carrying on the Lord's instruction. That's what Joshua goes into. But you got it, bro. We can go back.
Yeah. Back in Joshua chapter 11 and verse 10, right? Yeah, 10.
No, we didn't read 9 yet.
We didn't read 9? Okay. This is Joshua chapter 11, verse 9 in the NLT. It says, then Joshua crippled the horses and burned all the chariots as Yahweh Bashan Shai has instructed. Man. All right. Verse 10 says, Joshua then turned back and captured Hazor and killed its king. Hazor had at one time been the capital of all these kingdoms.
He was like that top dog, because a lot of these nations, they had vassal kingdoms that like they gave their power into that one big dog. So he got him, and jacked his ass. Hey, it was a rod of iron. This is an example of when the scriptures speak about which they shall rule with a rod of iron. This is an example of that happening. That's what's gonna happen when Yahweh Shah returns. We can go back to the King James now.
Yeah.
Babu Shah.
All right, verse 11. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 11. Yeah, it's 11.
Yeah, it is 11. This is Joshua chapter 11, verse 11 says, and then, and they smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was not any left to breathe, and he burnt Hazor with fire.
And what does the scripture say? Rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft. Because you was a witch, hell, you can get your ass burnt up. Well, rebellion, this nigga was being hella rebellious. He knew what time it was, but he tried to have all the heathen come together and try and outshoot the Lord's plan. So he was being rebellious. So the Lord had him get burnt like a fucking witch. Even though he's a heathen still. You know, that's what we finna see Esau get his ass burnt up by the ICBM nuclear warheads and then by those chariots. You got it, bro.
Yeah. Continue on. Oh, yeah, continue on. Verse 12. It says, and all the cities of those kings and all the kings of them did Joshua take and smote them with the edge of the sword, and he utterly destroyed them as Moses, the servant of Yahweh, commanded.
We just got the example of that, Deuteronomy the 7th chapter. See? That was the instruction. You got it.
Got verse 13. Says, but as for the cities that stood still in their strength, Israel burned none of them, save Hazor only, that did Joshua burn.
Yep. So what we see happening is, hey, it was a great slaughtering. You see, a great slaughtering. Then he got the main guy and he got burnt. They got slaughtered, man. Because the Most High is a man of war. You got it.
Verse 14, it says, and all the spoil of these cities and the cattle the children of Israel took for a prey unto themselves, but every man they smote with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, neither left they any to breathe.
Kind. So yeah, they jacked all their ass up. As a matter of fact, let's get that Deuteronomy where it says, thou seest among the heathen a beautiful woman. I believe it's in 21. I'm trying to find it right now. Here we go. Yep, Deuteronomy 21 and let's get verse 10.
Yeah.
10 and 11.
All right. This is Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10.
It says domestic relations. So this, hey, we go to war. Lord allow us to get spoils.
Yeah. This is Deuteronomy chapter 21 and verse 10. It says, when thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and Yahweh thy power had delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and has
not an Israelite. They weren't Israelites. They were subjecting right here in this chapter where we read about in Joshua 11. They weren't Israelites. They were concubines.
Mm-hmm.
We're allowed to have concubines. This is in our law, right? Now, there's a way you're supposed to deal. You're supposed to let her mourn for people that died, and then you ultimately have to make her ass getting subjected into the right way. She can't come with them idols and all that other stuff. But you got it, bro. It's gonna go into it.
Continuing on, it says, I'll start from the top. It says, and seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife.
A secondary wife. You see? Because like her actual wife, you join the families together, and then, you know, the Lord is involved and stuff like that. So really, that's why when you read, we were just in Deuteronomy 7, that's why it says don't marry him, because that's making an allegiance with them heathens. To where they'll be worshiping those false idols, and you got to join their family and stuff, all their customs. Mm-hmm. We can do that with Israelite women, but we're not supposed to do that with heathen women.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because they'll turn you away. Which that Deuteronomy 7, we just in there, it goes into it. But you got it, bro.
Okay, verse 12 it says, then thou shalt bring her home in thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails,
which is mourning, so she can mourn for her family. He's going to go into it.
And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thy house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her and be her husband, and she shall be thy wife.
So you give her time to mourn for their loved ones and stuff. And then hey, guess what? You make her your wife. You go in unto her. You got it.
Verse 14 says, and it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will, but thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her.
Yeah, because you already popped her. You see? So
Okay.
that's pretty much the point.
Yeah.
And it also when you read later, it goes to have multiple wives, but that's kind of diverting a little too much. But we already know clearly multiple wives is allowed in the scriptures, man. Our prominent kings that we had and men of Israel had multiple women. Abraham, Jacob had, like, a lot of the tribes came from concubines. Jacob had 2 wives, man. So that's not something that's off. Like, you have a lot of camps that say, and people in the world think that a man is not allowed to have multiple wives. Well, according to the scriptures, that's false. You got it, bro.
God. Back in Joshua chapter 11 and verse 15, it says, as Yahweh commanded Moses, his servant, so did Moses commanded Joshua, and so did Joshua. He left nothing undone of all that Yahweh commanded Moses. So Joshua took all the land, the hills, and all the south country, and all the land of Goshen, and the valley, and the plain, and the mountain of Israel, and the valley of the same, even from the Mount Halak that goeth up to Seir, even unto Baal-gad, in the valley of Lebanon, under Mount Hermon, and all their kings he took and smote them and slew them.
Yep, it's that great conquest. Yep. You got it.
Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All others they took in battle.
Yeah, because guess what? The reason why that happened is because we already know about this the situation they lied. It was 2 situations where there was a little bit of mercy shown. It was one with Rahab on Jericho, where she got her family saved because she helped minister to the men of the Lord's men of war. And then the second situation was when they lied. The nations lied like a mug. They said this was from a far further land, and then they made Israel. They tricked Israel into making an oath that they wouldn't kill them. So those are the only people that got mercy pushed on them. Everybody else got their ass jacked up.
Yep. Back in Joshua chapter 11, verse 20. Wait. Yeah, 20 says, for it was of Yahweh to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them as Yahweh commanded Moses.
I had a quick precept. Now I'm gonna get this precept right here. This is the 13th chapter. I'm gonna go straight to the point, because these heathen are gonna be scared when they see Yahweh Shai and the power that he's coming with. Yep. Just like they were scared, you see. So this is 2nd Ezra 13, and I'm gonna start at verse. Let me see. Harden their hearts. Yes, this is right around verse. I'm gonna read a little bit above it. I'm reading verse 5, and it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. They gonna try and come subdue Yahweh Shai. Verse 6 says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graded himself a great mountain and flew upon it. Right, it's a big ass chariot gonna come, a big fathership. It says, but I would have seen the region or the place whereout the hill was graven, but I could not. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they that were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. The Lord hardened their hearts. And you even go into the one in Exodus where Yahweh shall harden the heart of Pharaoh for him to come and try and steal it after he got jacked up so bad to still try and come chase after Israel. And that's when the Lord had that sea fall upon him on his men of war.
Mm-hmm.
You got it, bro.
All right. Back in Joshua chapter 11, verse 21, it says, and at that time came Joshua and cut off the Anakims from the mountains, from Hebron, from Debir, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities.
Yeah, he destroyed all of them. A great conquest. You got it.
22 says there was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel. Only in Gaza and Gath and in Ashdod there remained.
Which we already know that's where that was them big ass Hamites. Them Anak, that's them big tall ass Hamites. You see, and we was scared to go against them. A couple of chapters we read a little bit of accounts before. Israel was scared of them. Joshua wasn't scared. Joshua and Caleb weren't scared. You read, I believe it's Numbers the 11th or 12th chapter. Joshua and Caleb were ready to go, but Israel was scared as hell of them. But now, guess what? The Lord is back with this new generation because he killed off that faithless generation, and they ready to go, man. You see? But Anak, you see it says Gath, because where did what's his name come from? Where did Goliath come from? Which we'll read about in Samuel. That came from that seed line, them big ass Hamites. Mm-hmm. And basically, when you go into it, when you break down how big Goliath was, nigga was damn near the size of a basketball goal.
Tall as shit.
He was huge. And then also, he wasn't no skinny ass dude, because in order for him to hit his damn spear was like it was real big. It was real thick and huge. For him to be able to hold that, he had to be real strong too. He had to have he was real dense too. He wasn't just no big, tall, skinny nigga like you see NBA players, nigga tall as hell and skinny. No, that nigga was big. To be able to carry that big ass spear, he was big. So that's how you know, hey, that those heathens, they was some warriors. That's why Israel was scared of them. That's all I want to bring out. You got it, bro.
Yeah. Verse 23 says, so Joshua took the whole land according to all that Yahweh said unto Moses, and Joshua gave it for an inheritance unto Israel according to the divisions by their tribes, and the land rested from war.
So hey, how about Shah? Basically, Joshua was basically damn near the first judge. He was kind of like a judge, or at least he was leading Israel. The Lord was dealing with Joshua. And within this conquest he went on, he was subjecting all these nations. And guess what? All of our land allotments was being set up.
Yep.
Where Judah got his land, Ephraim and Gad, Reuben, Manasseh, Simeon, all the tribes was getting their land allotments.
Yeah. See?
But I want to end off this pre-show. I got one more. Unless you got something.
No, I was just gonna make a quick point because you gotta think about it. Like, man, it really took him some time to do pretty much all of this. Right, because we first started off in the beginning of the chapter. Pretty much he was up here in the southern region, right? To meet the kings at Waters of Merom, and the red arrows represent like pretty much where he drove them to. Right there, you see Hazar, Mizraim, Mizpah, Madaron. Basically, that's where he drove them to and killed them. But as we got into later on the chapter, we got pretty much all the way down here to the southern region. So he went right back to the southern, because he made mention of Debir, Anab, where is he? Oh yeah, Gaza, Goshen, Arad. So he came from all the way up there. Oh yeah, even Mount Halat. He came from all the way from the northern part to the southern part and conquered some more. So that right there, let you know, man, that took like a minute, Yeah, and I think then we read one of the scriptures that said like he fought with the kings for a long time.
Yep,
years on years. So this is not something that took span of just like 1 year. No, like this is probably like some years, right, of doing that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. But
I'm just gonna get Psalms 149. I'm gonna get verse 5 through 9.
Okay.
Because it's basically embodied this scripture in this chapter.
How you want me to read it?
Baruch Kashai.
Yeah, this is Psalms chapter 149 and verse 5. Starting at verse 5, it says, "Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people."
Yeah, the Lord was having us do that in that whole chapter. We just read about it. Hey, they was whooping ass. They was giving them niggas the business, man. And this is getting ready to happen again because Joshua has the same name as Yahushua, and Yahushua is going to be our deliverer. You see, and when Yahushua returns, it's going to be a conquest. Revelation, the 2nd chapter. You see, there's many chapters that go into that conquest that the Lord's going to have with Israel. Hey, he that is feeble among you shall be as David. You see, and the strong shall be as the Alahayim or the powers. So we finna get ready to be upgraded when Yahushua returns, and we're gonna go another conquest. You got it, bro.
Verse 8. Psalm chapter 149, verse 8. It says,
I think you didn't read verse 7.
I didn't. Yeah, I did. But I'll read it again. 149, Psalm chapter 149, verse 7 says, "To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh."
And who's the saints? The Israelites, man. Those who the Lord had sanctified by the covenants. You read that in Psalms 50. But it said that this honor have ye all the saints, because guess what? The Lord really wants Israel to all be judges. That's what we were doing. We were judging them. You see, they was in the Holy Land doing all that wickedness. Who was getting them out of there?
Yep.
Right, on the Lord's command. So that's something that's in the law. And we're getting ready to do that again in this current time. You see, to execute the judgments written, we're not just going to be reading the scriptures the whole time, breaking down stuff. We're going to actually have a moment where we're going to be judging. You see, commencing judgments on people for what they've done. You see, based upon Yahweh Shah's instructions. So this is getting ready to happen again, man. But that's the point I wanted to go into for this Joshua chapter 11. You see, this is the conquest that he was going on, man. And we're going into the details of it, breaking down some of the points. So that's all I had. You got anything else?
No.
So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson edified. We'd like to end it all by saying, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakak Wadash, Deborah City, Apostles, Elders, Great Millstone, Room Teach Well. Next time, come Shalom.
Shalom.